Welcome back, everyone. This is Ryan Swore, and thank you for joining us at Manic Energy. Today, we're joined by Katie Brooks and Asher James with Duluth Creative Co., the founder and owner of Duluth Creative Co. Today, we're going to talk about our journey in starting a podcast and what we've learned here in the early days, and probably a lot about what's next for our viewers and listeners and for us. I'm Ryan Swore, and this is Manic Energy, a podcast that dives into the fast-moving world of energy, business, and the people powering it all. From bold ideas to real-world innovation, we're talking breakthroughs, market moves, and the community shaping what's next. Whether you're building for the future or just here for the fun, welcome to the chaos. All right, so we're a couple days in to the launch, and how does it feel? I mean, I know how I feel. I'm curious. And first of all, Asher, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for having me on.
I feel like we're like breaking a wall right now. You're usually you're the guy behind the computer coaching us on everything and getting us ready for this. But we've certainly learned a lot from you and appreciate you joining us. And you're like a podcast pro compared to us. You own a podcast company. You've been on them before.
Sure.
So, thanks for joining us. And I'm just really excited today to get into sort of how is it going for us so far? What has the response been? Mm-hmm. And then maybe we can let people know how we're approaching this and what we're trying to do next. And just what have we learned so far, and where are we trying to go with this? I mean, I think we talked a little bit about why in our first podcast. By the way, listening to that, it's like we should have redone that. I was like so uncomfortable and nervous. Like, what are we doing here?
I kind of like, when I said after we recorded that, I was like, do you guys, how are you feeling? Like, do you want to redo that one, or do you want to like put it up as like a, just see how you feel about it? And I'm happy that you actually were like, no, let's put it up. Or like you said, what do you think? And I said, I think we put it up. And part of the reason why is because I wanted people to see you getting uncomfortable, especially like people in your business and your colleagues and things like that, and trying something new. Because I think that getting out of your comfort zone, getting into this content world and, posting in a different medium, connecting with people, I think is really, really challenging for people, both like infrastructurally, camera gear, but also just like emotionally sharing those stories. And so I thought I think it was really cool to just kind of show behind the scenes, not only just now, but like, 100 episodes from now, looking back at episode 1 and seeing what that was like. And you can be like, oh, like we've grown and changed, and like we've gotten used to this and like all that kind of stuff. So I think it was like, cool and almost like ethical to like show like the progression and the change and the discomfort,
It's honest.
Yeah. It's honest. It's honest.
So that makes a ton of sense to me, which is why we decided to do that. But for me, it's like, I've always been taught that first impressions matter. And I feel like people are going to show up and listen to this and say, this sucks. I don't want to hear this. Hell? This is really boring. These people have no idea what they're doing. This is lame. I don't want to listen to this for. And so it's like, we should redo that and make it more engaging, more exciting. And I don't know. I'm happy with it.
Yeah. And depending upon when this episode lands in the first, batch of 10 that we've been recording, I think people already have been able to see like what the evolution of your comfort and the conversations and the guests you've had on the show looks like just from episode 1. Well, and it'll be interesting because episode 1 and then episode 2, your story, episode 2 was actually the most recent one we recorded. So there's like, I think another 6 episodes in between there, which is like such an interesting contrast now that I'm thinking about it.
Thankfully, because there has been growth and progression.
Totally.
And our level of comfort has increased, but it would be, if we would have recorded your, like just us two, that longer one.
Yeah.
Earlier on, I feel like it would have been real rough.
Yeah,
sure. So I have to be honest, that's the most recent one we've done. I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I haven't. I've done a really good job of listening to the other ones.
Yeah.
I've made it through, I would say, all the content with the exception of that one. Because it was the most recent and I just hadn't taken the time. And so I'm like, and of course that's episode 002, right? Yeah. And so people have been giving some feedback, and it's like, what did I say? What did I say anything wrong? Did I say anything bad? Like, I don't know.
I'll send you
told a lot of
I'll
really
send you a
personal
summary.
stories there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all right. I mean, the reality is, somebody told me once, you don't have to have a good memory if you always tell the truth.
Totally.
And I feel like I tried to do that there. So, if somebody gets mad at me for that, I sure hope nobody does or did.
Right.
Then,
if so,
then
that's their
not
business,
something I can really
right?
control, right?
Yeah.
I can't
Exactly.
control that.
Exactly.
I just told the truth as I knew it or perceived it historically. So, I think there has been a lot of learnings. And by the way, I had no interest in it. I don't think this is me, by the way. It's probably everybody. Nobody likes listening to themselves talk. Right? I'm told that. I'm sure some people like
Unless
listening
you're a
to themselves talk.
narcissist.
Yeah, then
I'm
you
like
love
borderline. Like
You're
when
almost
I
there.
recorded my own show, I like listen back to it. I'm like, yeah, like this is awesome.
it. I'm really, really engaging.
No, if you want to
No.
feel insecure about yourself.
Listen to yourself. Yeah,
Sit in these
especially
seats.
in the early days, like
Yeah.
when you're just starting. Yeah.
You two really convinced me to do that. And I think it helped. It helped a lot because I started listening to it and realized, why am I doing that? Why am I talking like that? That's not how I am. I'm so uncomfortable. I should change that. I should change this. This isn't how I normally am.
Well,
And so I've taken that feedback. It's been really helpful. I hadn't admitted that one yet, but
it's hard to kind of, I feel like it's maybe like a societal or cultural shift in having to, be so polished up front. But people now, I feel like, find comfort and can relate to you when they can feel your genuine energy too. So
Totally.
like making that switch is kind of
Yeah.
tough.
and nothing scripted here, really.
Right.
We talk high level.
Yep.
What are we trying to cover? And if you have a guest, of course, you try to be a little bit more polished on sort of the topics that we're going to get into.
Well,
and
just
the
come
approach we're going
prepared
take.
to some
Yeah.
level. Yeah.
Right. Which is important.
Yep.
I think. Yeah.
But ironing out the it's like I can't even. We should edit that out. It's like I was like, why am I doing that every time I go to talk? I say like that much.
I think it's like it goes back to, for me, thinking about like being in school, and it's like a professor would say like, okay, record your, like in a speech class. I was a communication major. So like record your speech, record your presentation before you give it, and you'll learn from it. And so like I've always kind of like done something similar to that, or like been used to like cameras and stuff. Like it's been my career for over 10 years. So it to me is like the best way to be able to like self-critique once you can get past the ick, of like hating, like hearing
Working on
yourself
that
or
yet,
looking
yeah.
at it. You can like just like start to be like, oh yeah, that's like a little thing that I do that I want to fix or work on. And then when you're recording it, you also just, after a couple times, it just becomes more natural, because the first time you're thinking about it, the second time you're getting a little better. And then if, soon enough you're speaking on stages and you're one of those people that you see at conferences and you're like, how do they speak like that?
Yeah.
Like without any script in front of them,
Mm-hmm.
and it just comes from doing it time and time again.
Scripting, I used to script. We do like all staff presentations
Sure.
and things like that. And so often I showed up immensely underslept, meaning I didn't get any sleep. I over prepared for this. I knew everything I wanted to say, had it all planned and rehearsed in front of the mirror. And what I found is then, okay, we transitioned to, I don't need to be that polished, but I do need to be able to sort of read through it, to now actually our marketing team's so phenomenal with PowerPoint as an aid, which I never really knew what that was until about 4 years ago. Thank you,
Sure.
Katie, and the whole marketing team at Lake Superior Consulting that's evolved us or leveled us up big time on that. Now I don't even have any speaking notes, because what I found is there was one time I was just really busy. I was unprepared, and I showed up just and did what I had to do. And the feedback I got was overwhelmingly positive. People reaching out to me, best town hall we've ever had. So
Yeah.
amazing. You were so engaged, loved it. And a lot of times I wasn't really getting that before that. And then I kind of experimented with it back and forth. We try to do quarterly ones and other things as well among it. And I realized that I get way better feedback when I, not that I'm not prepared, but when I don't have it scripted or well rehearsed, because I speak more from the heart. It's more genuine. It comes across or is received better. And I've gotten that feedback from some people. So it's like, well, okay, so I need to prepare less. All right, I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do that.
Well, I'm sure it comes with like experience too.
The more you do it,
The more you do it, but also like your experience with the business and getting into all the different areas, so then you know what you're talking about. You have confidence.
Nothing
right?
prepares you or gives you confidence like live questions.
Oh yeah.
5 questions are my favorite thing. I love them because you
Really?
never know what's going to happen or come, right? It's like,
Well, then
it's your time to shine. It's like, what is it that you are going to ask me? I have no clue whatsoever. And hopefully that, the majority of the people who hear what I have to say took some value from it. That's where you really say, all right, I have something to share that's of value, as opposed to I have something to share that is somebody else's value and rehearsed. And I love live questions.
That's interesting.
Most people probably don't, right?
No, well, to me, I'm like, filter, is it going to be on or not?
Sure. Sure.
Well, that part, I suppose,
Yeah.
it depends on the environment, but you can't control that.
Yep.
And usually when people ask things in a way that makes everybody cringe, it doesn't do them any value or benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And you still have an opportunity to react in a positive way.
Sure.
So it's somebody that's really angry with you, that doesn't believe in anything you're doing, that says something that's offensive, terrible. The way you respond to that can actually improve what it is you're trying to accomplish. Where if you deleted that, you're missing the opportunity to demonstrate that you can respond to, like, all of life is strife.
Yeah.
There's hard things all the time we're all dealing with, and from moment to moment, day to day, week to week, year to year. And how you respond to that, I think, is what people care about.
Yeah.
And so don't rob yourself of the opportunity to show how you'll show up in the face of adversity, is my thought. And so then what you do is you say, what's the worst thing somebody could ask me? What's the worst thing somebody could say to me in this environment if I open it up and be vulnerable? And you can really go in some dark places and think, okay, that would be horrendous. That would be bad. That would be bad. How would I handle that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. That would be really emotional. Would I react emotionally to that? That would be a complete ding on my character, on my values, on mistakes I've made, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I'm all those things. I've messed up lots of times.
It's honest, yeah.
How would I react to that? You kind of rob it of its power.
Sure.
When you think of the worst case scenario, and then think of, no matter what comes at you, how can you handle it? Like, think of it like the high road or positively. So I think if you take that approach, and I've thought that a lot about this podcast. Like, I don't go on social media at all, but I'm probably going to. I found myself, because I think I was coached here last week, you should respond to people. I'm like, I don't respond to people. Like, can I just call them? Like,
Yeah.
And then you got to go in there and you got to say something back. And it's like, how do I say something in one sentence on a LinkedIn post and responding like a thank you that's meaningful, it's genuine or sincere, and I don't know what to say in this environment, but I'm going to go on and I'm going to do it. But then it's like, I'm sure there's going to be some haters that come through, or people that are frustrated with something I said or something we did. And it's like, you know what? I'm out here being vulnerable and try that and then see. It's something we haven't really experienced any negativity yet, but
Sure.
I want to get into the
don't
launch.
worry.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Awesome.
No, I'm teasing.
No.
But
Have you
I think
experienced any?
no. But what I am saying is that you can't please everybody.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
especially in an industry such as this, where there's so much discourse on it, and so much really raw opinions, and like people's livelihood and lives are at stake in a bunch of different aspects. You're bound to get some of that, and I think that the only way that we can work through some of these conversations is by pulling out some of maybe those more like controversial subjects from the episodes. Those are going to be the LinkedIn posts that go the most, right? Those are going to be the farthest reaching ones, and like actually have meaningful conversation from. Not the fluffy, this is great, this is how things are going, but like the things where it's like, okay, let's actually get down to brass tacks.
I've got 5 questions that I want to ask 3 different guests that have all kind of agreed to come on this show. That will make me very unpopular with most listeners.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, and like, they're not here now, so we got it. They're
Keep
sitting
them
in the back pocket. They're there.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
and
like,
subscribe.
So maybe that's what.
Yeah, right. There you go. Plug it.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people that dislike it, and I plan to break the wall and say, hey, this is how I've thought about it. Sitting up thinking about how I'm going to approach a situation. And I really want to dig into this very controversial, frustrating topic.
Yep.
And I feel like I need to preface it. I'll need to preface it with, listen, don't hate me for asking the question. I'm trying to become educated here too, and I don't know the answer. What is your perspective? Recognizing that nobody wants me to ask this question, and nobody, very few people want to hear what your thoughts are and then answer.
But
then I want to bring on a guest that has a completely different perspective and opinion, so that I can learn from these people and say, well, what is it that I believe? What should you believe? Like, and not run away from that stuff.
No, but to that, that's kind of our role here, and you and I represent different walks of life or opinions or what have you, but that's something that I've taken away as a lesson learned that I'd like to maybe dig a little deeper, ask those maybe challenging questions, not to offend, but to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The crux of one of the things I want to talk a lot about, and there's a ton of content out there on this, and you can find, just speaking about energy, you can find statistics and perspectives, opinions, call it facts that support whatever conclusion you're trying to draw. You can, and there's one thing I was watching recently that talked about the difference between completely factual and factually complete. Completely factual is to give a statistic. Factually complete would be giving other relevant statistics around it as well that put it into context.
Yep.
Because context matters. I think most people, let's stick with energy, want sustainable, affordable, secure, accessible energy. Environmentally, when I say sustainable, I mean environmentally responsible. We all care. You don't often meet humans that don't care about the planet at all, and certainly if that's who they are, they're probably not going to listen to this.
Right.
I want the planet to be healthy for generations and generations and generations to come. We're relying on finite resources. Period, and that's true whether it's coal, hydrocarbons or oil, natural gas. The sun and the wind are renewable energy in themselves. The components that we're using, the rare earth metals that we're mining to build the parts that they're relied on in that process are not. Those are also finite. So it's not indefinitely renewable. There are some examples of what could potentially be completely renewable energy. But I think what matters is innovation. We all want it to be better and more innovative. And we've all accepted that carbon in the atmosphere is bad.
Yeah.
There are controversial opinions on that subject. I'm not an educated person on the subject. I don't know. I know that popular opinion and demand globally is that we must reduce carbon and emissions. That's what we're going to do. There's a lot of PhD in statistics and science out there that says that would be a bad thing. That's crazy to me. I'm like, no, I've already accepted this as a truth, as an elemental truth, that these emissions are bad. And I think the majority of the human civilization has accepted that. There are some people that have a controversial opinion. They might be entirely wrong, but I want to hear what they have to say. They want to have that civil dialogue and discourse and say, what is the right answer here? Not because I'm going to inform our customers, just because I want to be more prepared to understand the impact we're having and how we can affect it positively, because we care about the earth. And it's going to take a lot of work to set this up successfully for generations. You call it kind of the challenge, right? Because when you take into balance the fact that we are able to live the life we live because of our access to energy, period. And you go around the world and you see other communities and other countries that don't have access to the same forms of energy we do, and they have a very different way of life. We have access to immense opportunity where we live right now, us in this room. And again, that's all afforded to us because of our access to energy. So I think the other things you keep in mind, and I'm not going to give statistics because I'm not prepared to do that, but that generally speaking, those who have access to energy have higher access to healthcare and don't have the same rate of health problems as those who maybe burn dung or manure or wood for heating and cooking. There's a lot of high side health effects and emissions and a lot of air quality problems that come from that. It's bibber and poop,
Sorry,
Katie.
yes,
it's true.
Dung, I can't.
This is how people are living in a lot of places around the world.
I know, just the word choice to dung.
Dung.
I just
Yeah.
haven't heard it for a while.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Sorry.
It's good. It's the scientific term.
Yeah, it's the science. Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, manure would have worked, but
But it's reality, right? And so that's really bad for
Totally.
adults and children to be breathing in these things. I think the other things that generally are true is higher rates of poverty, lower access to education, education for females especially. At least the statistics you can look up that I've seen demonstrate that. And I would like it if children were healthy, had access, and people were healthy, had access to healthcare, had access to education, had the same opportunities we did, had the ability to choose the life they want to live, the quality of life being elevated. And a lot of that, so much of that is driven by having affordable, reliable, consistent, sustainable access to energy. So how do we in bulk bring that to places across the world, to humans around the world? Well, also, because we're affecting the atmosphere when they're using other sources. You know, there are cleaner forms of energy like solar, like wind, like natural gas, that are cleaner than a lot of what's being used. So how do we bring these to elevate these things that should matter to almost everyone, while also recognizing that we're dealing with finite things? And holy cow, that's a really complicated thing to answer. And for anybody to sit there and say, here's what we've got to do because I know all the answers, there's no way.
Right.
So I want to bring in like a lot of different opinions. I want to have conversations about it because maybe we educate people in the fact that, hey, listen, I'm in predominantly the oil and gas industry, but I care as much as anybody about trying to solve these problems.
Sure.
And I only play one very, very small role. The people who really get it done are, my Lake Superior Consulting's clients, customers. But I care a hell of a lot, and I think they do too. But how do we get more effective at what we're doing? It's going to take innovation, and collaboration across everyone. You can't be a hater and expect you're going to get the positive results.
Right.
If the outcome you're looking for is a cleaner, more sustainable future, it's going to take sort of a lot of energy in a lot of ways to get there and solve these problems. And I don't know what those answers look like.
Sure.
That's a soapbox, I guess. So I think we're talking about what guests do we bring on?
Yeah.
Who do we have come in? But in order for anybody to listen, I think I need to ground this. I really got on a tangent there. Sorry. In how did the rollout go, and what should we do next? Because I want to attract these types of guests too.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to look at this and say, I'm not going to go do that podcast. I want them to say, hey, that seems like a good platform for me. So what are your thoughts? You've rolled out a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
We've got the first 3 episodes have gone out as of this recording.
Yeah.
People now know that they may not have been recorded in order.
Yeah.
And so
We're
we
behind
don't
the curtain
know
today.
exactly when this one's going to go. Yeah, this is a
Exactly.
behind the curtain.
This is the
behind the
manic.
scenes.
Yeah. This is the manic
This is
part
the
of
manic.
the
You get to
Yeah.
see the real manic happening live. What do you think? What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, for me, I think it's important to ground any kind of rollout with patience, especially in the world of podcasting and long form content. I mean, we're not looking at a couple of episodes to really identify growth or success yet. I tell clients that I'm working with, like, it's going to take probably 6 months to a year minimum to be able to have any sort of, analytics to look on as far as like how things are going. That being said, from what I have seen so far, like, I just want to like commend you guys for like the spirit of the show, and the dedication you've had towards the rollout, posting about it on LinkedIn. We're getting it up on the website. Like, all these things I think are a lot of actions that a lot of people don't take when they're starting a show. And so just the fact that you're putting in that work at the ground level, you're already so far ahead of where a lot of shows will never even get, as far as reaching an audience, connecting with people, sharing these conversations. So that's great. And then also just having kind of a built-in audience, both with like your colleagues, but also your team and staff and company. I'm just seeing like pretty significant like numbers right off the bat of people actually engaging and tuning into the show from what I assume has just been organic, like emails and posting and stuff like that. So that's been cool to see. A lot of times when you launch a new show, there's maybe like 5, listens or 10 listens, and it's like friends, family, stuff like that. But yours are averaging in like the 30s. I think maybe one of them's hit 40s. I checked a couple days ago. So this could be completely changed by now. But that's been great. And you're also just like the subject matter, again, going back to that, is such a discussion in society and in culture that I think there's a lot of buzzword or like clickable, titles and things that is going to accompany the show moving forward with different topics that we cover that are going to be really interesting for people to want to listen to. For one reason or another, we'll get the positive comments, we'll get the neutral, and we'll get like some of the hate comments too, and it'll be, I think, a longer term analysis of the show is what it's going to take to get there. But as of right now, as far as launch goes, it's been great to see you guys launching 3 episodes right away, getting your community involved in it, and just like taking the steps to like make it professional. We're not recording this in like your conference room, right? Where you guys have invested in being here in the studio, good quality microphones and all that kind of stuff, having a producer, so that you're able to just like get down to the actual content and let me take care of all of like the technical side, so that you can actually focus on like your, zone of genius and in the topics that really matter.
This reminds me of the Dan Sullivan book, Who Not How.
Yeah.
If you've been there or read it or heard
I
it.
just finished reading it.
You did?
Since the last time I
Because
saw
we
you.
talked about
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's right. Yeah. This is like the perfect example
Yep.
of if we sat back and said, hey, we want to do a podcast, and we started researching how to build a podcast, it would
Yep.
say, well, you probably want to use microphones. You probably want to get a studio. And then we went and we tried to figure all that out. I don't know how to do this. Like, this isn't the value I can add. Holy smokes. I can't believe we found a Who right across the street from our office.
Yeah, no kidding.
I didn't know you. We probably walked by each other on the street how many times,
Yeah.
never even like glanced at each other. And there's when you told me, Katie, that we found a podcast studio or a studio that can accommodate this right across the street from the office. wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't even have to drive to go there. We can just walk over there and do this. It was phenomenal. And then, by the way, the first time we met you, I was like, oh yeah, like this is the right person. This isn't just a person. It is the right person. So I really appreciate everything you've done because, like to me, I'm trusting in the process now. And I haven't really gotten there yet, but it's going to allow me to focus on being prepared for these things as opposed to focus on the how are we going to do this podcast today. It's more, what are the stories that we need to tell?
Totally.
What are the guests we need to try and attract?
Yep.
What do we want to inform our viewers and listeners about? So kudos to you. And I'll say it was more than I was expecting, which is that's very much a compliment. Like,
as far as like what's out there right now.
To you, Katie, to the marketing team at LSC, to you, Asher, and Duluth Creative Co. When you say it's going to be on Spotify, like when you first told me it would be on Spotify, I was like, wait, what? This is on Spotify? Like, I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just kind of blew my mind. It's like, I can't be on Spotify. Like, to me, you basically just said that it's going to be on, 60 Minutes. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
That's the same damn thing to me. Like, I just, I don't get out enough probably.
I mean, there is an added layer of distribution challenges than just like simply uploading something to social media or even to YouTube. There's a lot of podcasts out there that are like only on YouTube because of how easy it is. And not to say that getting on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything else is hard, but it does require just a little bit more learning to like, what is an RSS feed?
Yeah.
Like how do we get this thing out there and get it like, approved and published and stuff like that. And it's like, it's really not that hard, but some people will just not do it because it's like just one added layer. And then when you see your show's artwork next to another show that you've been listening to, you're like, whoa, that's
not what I was expecting.
Cool.
That's really what I meant more. That's what I was getting at.
Exactly.
Is like, I couldn't believe it was on Spotify. And then when I went and listened to it or put it on there, I was looking at it and it's like, oh my gosh, this looks professional.
Yeah.
Like, this is professional.
Yeah.
And then somebody else told me, oh yeah, I watched it. I was like, oh, you watched or listened? And they said, I watched it. I said, oh, on YouTube? No, I watched it on Spotify.
Yeah.
I was like, Spotify is not a watch? And they're like, yes, it is.
It is
I didn't even
now.
know. So I had to pull up my phone and look at it. I was like, oh my gosh, you can watch it on Spotify.
Yep.
I had no idea.
They rebranded as a multi-format platform instead of just like an audio first platform. They're
Makes sense.
Multi-format.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I felt like really professional done. And even like the content surrounding it, it's just not like it's a starting and then we got the intro, the outro, things like that. Like, really appreciate that. We never would have done that on our own.
Totally. Yeah.
So
sure.
kudos to you.
Yeah.
And I'm
Or at
really
least it would
excited.
have taken longer.
Yeah. Even if it crashes and burns, I've already learned so much and I've had a lot of fun. And this has been a great investment of time and energy.
Yeah.
And, we'll see where it goes. But what about you, Katie? What do you think so far? You were really looking forward to making yourself vulnerable and coming on this show. This took no prodding
Should we
whatsoever.
even like rewind a little bit? So we decided, okay, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And then Ryan's the host. But
those were
then
like the givens.
Then
initially.
we toyed around with, is there someone else that sits next to him? So it's maybe like a 3-person conversation. We talked about that a little bit. And to the podcast that I listen to, I like that. I like that dynamic because everyone's representing it has a different role and speaks to a different audience member. And as we're talking about, who is that person? At that point, like, what? It wasn't me. So,
well, maybe not in your mind.
In my mind, it wasn't me, but here I am at the end of the day. And then I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. It wasn't like I'm not doing it. I'm super excited. It's kind of one of those things. Just shove me into
let's
it.
talk about the response in the negative form. The thing I noticed that didn't happen when I said, Katie, how do you feel about doing this? What didn't happen was a look of relief of finally he's asked me.
Yeah.
It was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, that's a choice. No, it was like you didn't say absolutely not, but you didn't say that sounds like a good idea either. It was like I feel like you felt tested. Like Ryan's asking me if I'll do this, and I can't be in your skin in this moment. But you didn't want to say yes, but I felt like you felt the pressure to not be able to say no.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I don't know that I felt tested by you, but like almost tested by myself. Like here's an opportunity, and there's no growth in not throwing yourself into
You got it.
So
you got to get uncomfortable.
here we are.
You got to get uncomfortable.
Yep.
Well, you're like, I don't think I have the voice for it. I was like, well, why are we talking about that? You'd be great.
Well, because listening to yourself is the worst.
No, you're gonna get used to it. Yeah. You're doing great, and I think it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I have no regrets about what we've done so far. But maybe let's talk about what we want to do next.
Yeah.
I've already said like I've got a lineup of. We have a lineup of like I think 70 topic ideas.
Yep. Guests.
40 to 50 guests.
Yep.
Mixed between some employees of Lake Superior Consulting, but actually mostly external people we want to bring on the show and hear about and let our listeners and viewers hear about. And just a wide range of topics across that landscape. I feel like we need to, you made a comment that you said we've done a good job to I love the way you said it. I think what you said was we've taken the steps to do things that aren't necessarily hard, but a lot of people may never do.
Right.
And that's really cool to hear.
There's just like a little bit of that resistance.
You're a driver of that. And our team, I think internally, you, Katie, and Raquel, and among others, have put some really good thought into, in collaboration with Duluth Creative Co. of how do we do this. And I'm not sitting here tooting my horn because I feel like, oh my gosh, we have so much work to do. We have to go, this isn't anywhere where we want it quite yet. And I don't want to measure any of our success by how many viewers or listeners we want to have. I think we should probably level set our expectations around that a little bit. Because if we want to have a podcast that drives change, we will never probably measure change.
Right.
And so how do we measure our own success? It's something I think a lot about in business.
Yep.
To me, it's like I always want to measure how we're doing. And that's not even to say, are we meeting goals per se? It's just, are we moving forward?
Yeah.
Are we making progress? And that'll feel good. And if we feel good about this, we'll keep doing it. And we'll keep trying to do it better. And so, to me, it's sort of like, what is it we want to try and accomplish?
Yeah.
And then how are we looking backwards to say, are we getting better? So I want to get more organized around guest preparedness, around reaching out to those folks, and well in advance, giving them time to think. Like a feedback platform where, and I think that exists sort of on the media content pages and things like that.
Yeah.
You say like and subscribe. I don't know how to do that. My kids used to say that, and they're younger kids. They say like, no, like and subscribe.
It's like a meme now.
It's like a meme.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows.
I don't know how to like or subscribe
Right.
to anything. Like, is this like
I don't know that I
like
would
a
have
magazine
admitted that.
subscription? I don't know how to do these things. But also, I felt like liking and subscribing to my own stuff seems like it's not good either. So I've been really wrestling with that. Like, should I like this?
Yeah.
I mean, I do like it. But how would people perceive that if I go on and like my own stuff? Like, this seems wrong.
Yeah.
Self-serving.
Yeah. I think that's their business, what they think about it. If you want to like it, go for it.
You're wise.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's easier said than done.
I already like it.
I've been liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, if you're not your own biggest fan, then who else is going to be?
Yeah, that's a good
to a
point.
certain extent. It's like you got to hype yourself up and believe in it. And, when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, like, you're going into a business. There's no other reality in which it doesn't succeed in your mind, right? No one else is going to care about your business as much as you do. So, like, the only person that's going to really take those big moves to do something is you. Whether the world perceives that as like being cheesy, corny, positive, negative, good, bad, whatever it is, like, that doesn't matter. It just matters to you. Are you making the action forward? Because then someday when you made it, people are going to be like, oh yeah, cool. I see how they did that now. And like, so it's just like, it's cringy until you made it. And then once you make it, you're like, oh yeah, well they put in the work, they got there. You know what I mean? It's just, we see that a lot with just like, content creation in general, influencers, things like that, the education space. It's like, yeah, I'm speaking to no one. I have a podcast that has no listeners. But then all of a sudden it's like a couple years later, you have like 3,000 downloads a month and people are like, how'd you do that? You're like, well, I've been doing this for 3 years every week.
I don't remember where I read, heard, or saw this, but it was something about like this person saying like, yeah, this guy called me from his parents' basement one time trying to get money. He wanted like $10,000 in exchange for a, percentage of, maybe the numbers are probably wrong, but it was like some reasonable amount of money to this individual, whatever circumstance they were in, for a reasonable amount of percentage ownership in this business. And he was like, I'm not going to give you any money because it's this kid working out of his parents' basement. It was Elon Musk. and a company called, I think it was Tesla, he was trying to found and start. And it's like, this person's like, I can't believe I said no to that. Because everybody starts somewhere. And it's just that's the visual I got when you said of, you're speaking into a microphone and nobody's listening until they are. And I don't even know if that's my objective.
Totally.
But to me, I want to learn, and I want to do it in a way that lets people know that, hey, we're here, we're human, and maybe we can share something with you. And I'll be honest, it's also to promote, like I've committed to, and I am committed to seeing growth opportunities for the employees of Lake Superior Consulting. And when that doesn't happen, it's like, it's heart-wrenching. When it feels like it's not happening at the rate or the pace of what it could, it's really frustrating. It's like, what am I doing wrong? And I realized that I was pretty comfortable, not with where we were as a business, but in what I was doing every day. And I was like, okay, I've got to get uncomfortable. What are some of the ways I can do that? This is probably 2-3 years ago. So then it's okay, I need to start learning. I need to get back into learning. So audiobooks, reading books. Audio is really all I do. I got to be honest. I don't read them as often.
1.5 times speed.
Yeah, right. I don't hit that. I think I like to think that way, but if I go 1.5, I don't digest anything. So I go 1.2.
I keep mine at 1.2 as well. Nice.
I don't think if I go 1.5, I can hear it, but I can't digest it. So 1.2 is like the right balance. But it depends on the speaker too. Like
totally.
Like right now, if somebody puts me at 1.2, they're really going to have a hard time probably keeping up. But if the speaker is doing more like this, then you might hit 1.5. I just probably frustrated a bunch of people. It's good.
And there's some people listening to this and like 1.5, and they're like, wait, he just sounded normal for a second.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I digress a little bit. I mean, I think it's really exciting sort of where we're at, where we want to go. To me, this is really to elevate our brand and to learn something in the process, and ideally, hopefully support our customers too. And so maybe we have some measurements around that. And, maybe it's feedback from our clients that, if they say, I can't believe you're doing this. This is bad for our business. Why are you doing it? Yeah, you better go get legal advice and some insurance, or, hey, this is good. Can we come on and be a part of it too?
Yeah.
Which would be the ideal scenario. And so, so I think those are the next steps. And then how do we get more professional? Helping guests prepare. We already kind of created an email plan, a prep document, a guide. We give the right address now. Sorry, Kaylee Toshik.
Yep.
We gave the wrong address.
Oh, no way.
Did you know that?
No.
We made a mistake, and I'll take full ownership because I'm the one who sent the email. And I'm very appreciative that somebody drafted this email for me, and it was perfect, except the address was wrong. And I didn't catch that, and I didn't review it thoroughly enough, and I should have. And so her day when she was here, she was like, I think we sent her 4 blocks away.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's why
I
she
think
was
like down by the
late.
Sheridan or something.
Yeah.
So not bad. Not bad.
Right side of the
it was
street.
4 to 6 blocks away in the summer.
Oh, it was probably East Superior Street, not West Superior
No.
Street.
It was like
the wrong address.
Yeah.
Oh, just completely.
There was one wrong number in there.
What is Duluth Creative Co address? Are you comfortable saying that in this environment?
Please go.
It's confidential.
Because I'll remember once you said it.
317 West
Okay,
Superior.
we said 17 West Superior. So we were 17 West Superior
Oh,
Street.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 got deleted.
Yeah.
That 3 is really important, by the way.
Turns out.
Communication. You drop 1 3 and it leads to, and so I loved it because she handled it like a champ. She was like, whatever.
She was great.
At least she was in the right town.
Like she's like, I mean, I just got to work up a good sweat.
Yeah.
And and I think like is very much a person that wants to be on time.
Yeah.
It's like you just need to get some anxiety going.
Our first,
that's what's going to lead to a great episode.
Our first guest too. Like,
yeah, she was our first
external.
guest.
Yeah.
So that did come out in order. She was our first guest.
Yes.
That's episode 003.
That's right. And she she nailed it. I feel like I loved everything, even listening back. I'm like, gosh, I learned a lot. I was there live and I'll even listen to it and got more value out of it. But yeah, she was like, so do you do this to all your guests? and I think that's when
Just
we told
a
her.
power move.
Well, that's what she said. She's like, is this a power move to get is this like an icebreaker?
Yeah.
Like give us the wrong address. And she's like, just be honest. Do you do this to all your guests? And we're like, well, so far, yes.
Yeah.
Because you're the first.
That's funny.
Well, by the way, didn't we tell you? Like, but I think then when she got in here, she felt like, okay, it's a professional studio.
Yeah. It can be intimidating though. Like the first time walking in here, the lights, the cameras, all
Yeah.
the things. It's like the microphones. It's
You
like,
don't say.
ooh. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I'm so just desensitized to it now that it's like, I have to like think every time I'm onboarding a new client about, you know, the intimidation factor
How they
of like
feel.
all the gear.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember like I said something so silly to Katie that I just in normal life thought would be funny. And then I was like, oh, probably not the day or time to say that. Do you remember what I said?
No, I have no idea. I was blacked out.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I said something silly and then I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh man.
Can you share what that was? Because now I want to.
No, I have no idea.
Oh, you don't recall.
But I remember saying it and I was like, it wasn't bad, but it was like funny. And I was like, oh, that could not be taken as comedy. That could be taken as like, okay, now I'm going to self-critique this thing about myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I should have just held that to myself. Whoops. Okay. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
And moved on.
Well, I hate to have missed a joke.
Yeah. No, and maybe again, this is just my own anxiety. Maybe you didn't notice at all.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
don't
it's,
know.
yeah. I don't know.
That was a real blackout moment, I think, for us.
That first
Yeah.
episode
You
or
just
two.
kind of like, it's like, do I look at the camera? Do I not look at the
Yeah.
camera? What's going
Yeah,
on?
do you pretend like it's not
Why
there?
is this microphone in my mouth?
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
don't understand this at all.
But then you see it and you hear it. And what has that been like for you? I know you were just laying up a question, but I'm
You're all right.
curious for you guys, like being in that and like having that like intimidation factor and like all of the different like, you know, pressures or resistance to like starting a show, having me guide you through it. And then now it's up. We have 3 episodes launched. Like, how does it feel for you guys now that the show is out there and you've listened to it back?
Feels good. I haven't watched it yet.
Sure.
So I probably need to do that.
Or don't. It
Yeah, I
would be
don't
my
know that I need to-
recommendation.
Don't watch it. Yeah.
Just start right at episode 2.
Yeah. I've listened. You know, for me, I've tried to gauge it based on what people are saying.
Sure.
But people that I know what they're saying. There's one person that comes to mind that I don't think firmly believed in what we were doing here. Maybe I didn't do a good enough job. And it's a person that's in my business community that's important in my life.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I probably didn't do enough. I tried to explain a little bit, but I'm not sure that there was full alignment.
Didn't believe or like didn't quite understand what the purpose.
I don't know. Was there a
Okay.
difference?
Maybe it wasn't on board.
not.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good way to put it.
And not on board either. But
Oh,
this is
sure.
a person whose opinion matters to me.
Okay.
Sure.
And they listened and came into my office the other day and said, and they'll know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think. And they were like, well, they will now. They were like,
Well, I hate that I don't know.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. It was engaging. I listened to it. I really love what we're doing here.
Oh, fun.
Oh.
And so to
cool.
me, like I try to take those tiny wins, those moments that probably answer it better than I could myself.
Yep.
To me, it was like it was. I felt relief. I felt joy.
Yeah.
I felt accomplishment, and that was where I was like, okay, I don't care what happens from here on out. This person, and it's not that this person is the be all end all, but it felt like a person who didn't really know that they loved it or would. I'm like, what are you doing? Because it's kind of a weird thing to
Yeah.
say. Like my wife was like, "You're doing what?"
Has she listened?
Are you sure? No, she might. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
My daughter will. Did I tell that story on the show yet?
I don't remember if you told it on
Yeah.
the show. I've heard the story, but I don't know that it was in front of a microphone.
Yeah, my 8-year-old daughter. We were driving, and she was in the backseat. I have the internet might go on in my truck, so she got her little Kindle with her, and she's got headphones on, doing her own thing. And I was listening to one of our episodes. This is pre-release.
Yeah.
And I really digress here. Sorry. So I'm listening to this episode pre-release, and she kind of pulls her earbuds out, and she looks at me, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What do you mean?" "I'm driving." She goes, "What are you listening to?" I was like, "Oh, it's just this podcast thing." She's like, "Is it? That's you talking?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, you're so cool. Just driving my truck and listen to myself talk." She's like, "You're so weird."
Yeah.
And I was like, so now here I am being judged
That's
by
such
my
a
8-year-old
daughter thing
daughter.
to say.
Right.
She's
yeah.
like just judging me, and she's like, "What's this thing called?" And I'm not even like making up the tone or the word. She's like,
No.
"So what's this thing called anyway?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, it's called Manic Energy." And she's like, "What is it? Manic Energy. How do you spell that?" So I spell it for her. She's like, "Okay." Like 12 seconds go by. She goes, "I can't find you anywhere." I was like, "What?" And she goes, "You're not on YouTube. You're not on Spotify. You're not on anything." what are you listening to? And I was like, oh, it's pre-release. It's not out yet. And she's like, okay. Well, tell me when you launch.
From the Google Drive.
She's like, tell me when you launch. Yeah, I was on the Google Drive for my phone.
Yeah.
She's like, tell me, by the way, that works well. And she's like, tell me when you launch. I'll let you know what I think. I was like, oh my gosh. I actually said a couple swear words on the show. She's going to judge me. Like, no, I have to really check my words and what I'm talking about. It's like, no, you know what? It is what it is.
Yep.
So how about you? Like family members listen, you probably, your family members are used to it. I don't know if I answered your question, by the way. Oh, no, I think I did. Yeah. To me, like the feedback I got so far has been positive. And there's been a couple people that have like sent Teams notes to me. There's been a couple comments online.
Yeah.
You know, so far nobody's thrown anything at me yet.
Okay.
So like, you know.
Still early.
There's time. There's plenty of time for that.
Yep.
What about you guys? Like,
so I've got the other night, I think it was on Monday night, we were making dinner and my daughter stole my phone.
That happens.
Yep. And then we were kind of just talking about it. I'm like, it's live. And
because this was launch day.
yes.
Yeah.
And so she asked how to spell it. And I told her, and she's like, is this it? And my husband's like, she can just find it like that. I'm like, it's on Apple.
Yeah.
It's it's out there. So she was listening to it for a little bit and I'm just like, oh, shut it off. I guess my husband's listened to it. We haven't had it like debriefed, but it's been in the group chats, some positive feedback, but yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
that first wave of listeners, when I talk about this with clients, like once we get more into like the growth strategy side of things, there's like layers of growth.
Mm-hmm.
That first layer is like friends and family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second layer is colleagues and friends of friends. And then the third layer is where you start to reach like a larger audience. And then that's where that exponential growth can happen.
Yep.
So it's like these early days, the friends and family listening is like, yeah, it's intimidating and you feel kind of silly.
Well, just because you want that honest feedback and you don't know if you're getting it too.
Totally.
It's exactly
like I think
that.
I want it.
It kind of reminds me of crossing the chasm, right?
Yeah.
Like you got your innovators, early adopters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once you cross that gap into the majority or the once you get across that threshold, it kind of just can take off.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get more informative guests and everything at that point. But
yeah. Drop a review, 5 stars. That'll help on the platforms.
what? Yeah, I don't know. I'll forget to do those things. We
Right.
need help
No,
with
it's all good.
What's next for Duluth Creative Co?
Oh, sure.
Where do you want to go? Because we haven't talked about that, and it's been on my mind. Because I would like to think that perhaps we could help there too. Like I would imagine that if your goal is to have clients that do things like this, and you support in accomplishing their dreams and goals, are you trying to do that at a bigger scale? Are you trying to scale back?
Yeah.
What would success look like to you? And like, maybe not even that. Like, where do you want to go?
Sure.
Well,
yeah.
Before you get in, are you your founder, owner, solo owner?
Yep. That was important to me.
Okay. Any
In starting
employees? Anyone else helping you out?
Contract team.
Okay.
But not like formal employees yet.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I wanted to establish that.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's good.
If you need help, if you need like short-term help, we have a great team too. We can
Oh,
probably help you with
absolutely.
things.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're looking to grow and you need part-time support,
Oh, you guys have been amazing to work with.
there.
I love it.
What do you like? It's not just podcasting. Do you want
Right.
to talk about the other things too?
Yeah.
as well.
So I kind of have like 2 main like I don't know, pillars.
Business lines,
Businesses, 2 LLCs, if you will, right? So I have my Asher James Co side of things, which is the oldest one. That's where things started. And it's gone through a few different name iterations, but is now just simply Asher James Co. And that is where I do my wedding photography and filmmaking, which is like my main revenue driver. I love that so much. I think it's one of the most special things in the world to be able to document someone's family visual history and to like supply these photographs that they'll not only just look back on like a month after the wedding, but 5, 10, 50 years from now. So I just like emotionally and like value wise, just like love that. So I think that'll always be a big part of it. And then I have just had like some growth in that really quickly over the last couple of years. And so I just also feel a passion. I come from a family of educators and pastors and all this kind of stuff. So like I want to give back information that I've learned and synthesized through my lens. So I've also started just this past year doing some education in the creative business side of things, especially like the solo entrepreneurship level. And just kind of like teaching as I go and as I learn and, you know, being that like kind of one step ahead, 3 steps ahead and looking back and helping people come up with you type of thing. So that's all on that side of things. And then on Duluth Creative Co, it originally started as a co-working space and shared studio that I could work out of for my other business, right? But I wanted to have a space as I was leaving my full-time job to share with other people and like work with other creatives and have this environment. And that inspiration came to me from a creative space in Chicago called Creative Club Chicago. And we were originally, the working title was Creative Club Duluth. And then I asked them and they were like, yeah, you should probably, you know, find a different name. And I was like, okay, Duluth Creative Co. And they're like, sick. So, and so that's how it started. And then I then migrated in all other productions except for weddings into the Duluth Creative Co brand. And so we've done a documentary, we've done a mini web series, we've done an award-winning documentary, and we've done like business and branding work, and podcasting is the other huge piece of that, as well as the original kind of foundation of the space being a co-working space for remote workers, solo entrepreneurs, all that kind of stuff. And then a shared studio upstairs. So we have a photography studio for rent as well. So it's a very like kind of diversified space. And so I'm trying to figure out like what I want to do, what I want to move forward with, what things am I just going to put on like maintenance, and what's the one thing, I'm reading the one thing right now, that I want to really focus on growth wise. And so currently I'm just kind of in a season of like trying to identify that and figure that out. But I have already downsized a little bit of some of the work and specialized mostly into just podcast producing, because I love this. It's fun, easy, profitable, and I get to be in like these great conversations with great people. I'd never be in a room with you two probably without this medium, you know? And then this, I was just saying before we started recording, I think it's kind of a testament to maybe some of the magic that's happening here with this idea, being one of the only podcast studios in Duluth. This is now like the 3rd or 4th time I've been on one of my clients' own show. So I think that's also just like an interesting thing that I'm discovering, and like being like, okay, so they're proud enough of this and excited about the process to have me on the show to also talk about it. And you guys want to help me find more clients, just like your question insinuated. So, so I'm trying to figure out what that means. Like, I was just thinking about this last week. Do I hire in someone to help me with the podcast studio? Do I actually run a formal marketing campaign to try to book this up more? Because I would say it takes up maybe like a third to half of my time in a week, which is a lot. So that's like probably enough that I could start to invest in some help with it. But also, do I need or want it to grow? Or am I happy right now with where it's at? You know, and not just go into a season of not taking so many risks, because the last like 3-4 years of starting entrepreneurship, I kind of went a little hog wild with like starting business after business and offer after offer. And I didn't really give each
call that
offer.
A serial entrepreneur.
Exactly. Or just a crazy person. Yeah.
Possibly.
So I'm trying to identify
we like to use
that.
manic.
Yeah. Yes. I'm a manic entrepreneur. Thanks for listening. No, just kidding. I'm trying to identify that, but I do dream of doing less. But I also love the work that I'm doing. So it's like, is it just like the culture telling me I need to work less? I don't know. I think that I have a good sway or balance, if we want to use that word, between work and life. But I do think that I've been mostly minded in business. So it would be interesting if I got some help, maybe I'd be able to buy back some of my time, spend more of that with family, or pursuing new ventures, or just brainstorming about what I actually do want to do moving forward. But I think at the core of it, I love people, working with people. I love stories, legacy, creating a visual history, like that, like positive side of content creation, I think is what I really love. And having these conversations in a world that can be so dark, in a world that's filled with so much negativity, I love creating things and giving into the world stuff that's positive or like contributing something. So that's kind of at its core what I'll always be doing, whether that's educating, weddings, or podcasting, or anything else that I do. It's all about like just trying to work with people, love people, share positivity, all of that. So
love all that.
Yeah.
It sounds
Yeah, that was-
phenomenal.
Yeah. It's an answer, not an answer.
And well, no, it
Like,
is though.
yeah,
It is though. And I think it shows vulnerability, and you never know exactly what you want. And
Totally.
it'd be interesting if you sort of write your answers down to those things,
Mm-hmm.
and then like just, I'm not going to say time capsule, but kind of
Yep.
set that aside, and then a few years from now, look at that, and you'll look back and say, "Wow, I had no idea," because you're going to change.
Yeah.
So however you answer those questions
Yeah.
today, it's okay to
Yep.
keep in mind that you're going to change your answers to those tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And the external factors in life that can happen to you that are uncontrollable
Yep.
can really change things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a health incident personally, a health incident of a family member,
Mm-hmm.
some unexpected success or failure in business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's going to change everything. I think the best advice I give, if you're not asking for it, but whatever gives you the most energy, I think is what you should focus on.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you get energy from instead of giving energy to. That's what I'm really trying to do right
Yeah,
now is
yeah.
like say, the reality is I will fill as much time as I can.
Totally.
Like I'm going to try and be home for dinner at a certain time.
Yep.
And I will be busy until then, regardless of what's on the list. And there will always be a list. And that list will always be overfilled
Mm.
or I'm not doing my job well enough. But the reality is that kind of makes me a barrier in our business for other things that could be happening because that means there's things waiting on me.
Well, so talk about now this is personal, but your list. So, or I would almost put it in like your pie. So family, work,
Yeah.
you know, fun. Like how do you find balance?
Set boundaries.
That sounds like, I mean, give your answer, but that sounds like a really good, like full episode.
Well, we have that
To
plan.
dive into.
The balance, the travel, the
Totally,
life and work.
yeah.
Yeah, that is on the list.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
You know, who we bring in for a guest. I
Yeah.
don't know. We had some ideas around that. We thought about bringing somebody in like brand new to our industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea was like an intern or somebody that's just done a little bit of it. Like, because you don't often get that snapshot. Like you said, you don't remember what it was like.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started in the industry, I'm not answering your question. Sorry. Like I would have, my parents would
fault.
go to my house.
Okay.
My parents would go to my house and to get my paycheck
Yeah.
and have to go to the bank to cash it for me.
Because you just weren't there.
Because I wasn't
and
there.
you weren't going to be there for weeks, right?
And
Yeah.
our paycheck was that you could do for whatever reason, like this is early 2000s, you know, your payroll could run an auto deposit, but our expense checks couldn't.
Oh, sure.
So the expense check had to get cut and mailed.
Uh-huh.
And so like my parents would have to go to my house to like pick up my check and bring it to the bank for me. And I would always have to talk to them. Hey, do you think you'll be home this Friday on payday or Ryan? Or do you need me to go to your house and get your check and cash it so you can keep working and living? It's like, oh no, if you could please go do that and get my mail for me, that'd be great.
Yeah.
You know, I was single. And it's like, I forget that's how I lived. So we want to bring in somebody that's like brand new to this
Yep.
and hear what they have to say. That's an episode. We'll get there. To me, the most important thing is and I don't do these things well, is to plan in advance. If I had to give one advice, it's one word, it's honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that the hard way. Like you need to be honest
Honesty
about
with who? What? In what?
family
Okay.
and coworkers.
Okay.
Honesty with yourself.
Communicating your bandwidth.
Communicating your bandwidth and being honest about what you're going to focus on, what you're going to get done. And then being honest when you're saying, listen, I know I'm procrastinating on that, but that's because I need help. You know, it's not that I'm procrastinating. It's because I don't want to do that. and clearly I don't want to do it or I would have done it. What I've realized is that, and I've done this, I've spent like, when my wife heard the title to this show, she said, well, that's not who you are anymore. Because I didn't even say, hey, Manic Energy is about me. I just said the name. She's like, that's kind of like you and the energy. That makes sense. She got it right away. Even though we never talked about that. And she was like, but that's not who you are anymore. I was like, well, why do you say that? She's like, you've been getting like 5 hours of sleep a night lately, 4 hours of sleep a night lately. She's like, you're not, you went
And that's really good for you,
Oh,
right?
a ton.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like, I'm like
I just
super,
wanted-
I'm hearing that. I'm like,
superhuman.
oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm like superhuman on that. It's like I wake up, I'm like, I can do anything. Like, because for so long, I'd done like 2-3 hours a night, hour and a half. Like,
Wow.
no problem for a week,
That's
you know?
insane.
Wow.
And then I was just like, there'd be that one night where I need like 7 hours, 6 hours. It's like on a Friday night. And, you know, I'd sit down on my computer and I'd work, especially since the pandemic. You know, before I would just like maybe once a month I would pop up my laptop. We got to cut this or make it into 2 episodes probably. Huh?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I'd like I'd like pop up my laptop on my lap and work on it for 6 minutes to get done the thing that had to get done. You know, sending something to a customer, replying to an email, whatever. pandemic hits, I make my home office, and now it's like, and a lot of people went through this, right?
Yeah.
And still are, where it's hard to actually shut it off.
Yeah.
And so it's like what I would do, and I was a come to the office every day person,
Sure.
unless there's something else, but now we have the flexibility. It's awesome. But I come into the office, and the rule we had was be home by 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hard rule. And kind of the feedback now is, listen, Ryan, 6 p.m. is late enough. And I'm appreciative of having till 6 p.m. because, normally in work setting, our meetings end, unless there's something going on external that, like a project problem, whatever, or something that needs help, ends by 4:30. So that gives me like that extra hour and a half to just focus on things. And I really appreciate that at the end of the day. And then I drive home, be home by 6 p.m., to eat dinner with my family every night. And I'm listening to podcasts on the way home, or listening to usually actually books on business. And, it's funny because if I get home at 5:56, my wife, the thing she says now is, "Oh my gosh, you love me 4 minutes," and normally I'm home at like 6:03 and, or 6:07, like, and that matters to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to recognize that, like, because kids are going nuts. Dogs need to be fed. Houses
not one more minute.
So much stuff has to happen.
Yeah.
And 6 o'clock is late enough. And could I be home by 4 p.m. every day? The answer to that is yes. I choose not to be because I have things I want to do and people that depend on me and stuff. But what I realized is, and then for the longest time, Katie, it was like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's family time.
Yeah.
I don't shut off my phone, but I don't go on it either.
Yeah.
I don't go on the computer. There's a few hours there where I try to just be present. I'm the most tired in that time frame, tired in the whole day, because I just shut off the work brain.
Sure.
And now I'm transitioning. It's like I just want to like crash, but it's like eat dinner, clean the kitchen, whatever, just like any normal human's gonna do, and do whatever we have to do, help kids do schoolwork, whatever, read my daughter a story, whatever I have to do from a family perspective. But for those 3 hours, I'm present. And then I would hang out with my wife usually for an hour. She's in bed by like 9, 10 o'clock. She's reading. And then I would usually like 4 days a week, 5 days a week, probably I would go down and I'd work till 3 a.m, 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. And that's, it's a bad, I try not to send emails to people. Like I got better about that. I'm not sending people 2 a.m. emails because that just sets a toxic environment in some ways. And so I might tee some stuff up, but I've kind of gotten away from that, because what I've realized is I'm doing, it's back to that who, not how concept of this isn't a volume game. I can't win this in volume, and it's really been a transition in focus to the qualitative instead of the quantitative, because the quantitative doesn't really ever get you anywhere. It's about communication, reliance on others, bringing in support, and being focused on what's going to have the biggest lift on the lives of our employees, of our customers, of whatever it is I'm trying to influence with our business, which is predominantly that, right? In support of communities and the assets we serve, things like that, right? So it's like, I'm not doing anybody justice by working this hard. And even as admirable as it may be to some, it could look from the outside, it just doesn't get me. Because you know what? The list never shrinks.
It'll always be there on Monday, and then
it's always there on Saturday and Sunday too.
But then also, I mean, and this is a little different
Find something
perspective,
else to
but
fill it
like
with.
I'm never giving all of the things 100%. If I'm doing everything all at once, I find that I need to almost have boundaries in some ways.
The one way I really need to get better and plan to get better is just the family. Like we don't have a family calendar. Like we have a written calendar hanging up on the wall. Like when I book a flight somewhere, I'll just email it to my wife and hope it syncs with their Google Calendar.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? You're going to be out of town? It's like, well, I told you 3 months ago. That was way too long ago.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to work through some of that stuff right now about travel, balance, things like that. But I think, the thing I'm trying to do is just focus on things that this is giving me energy. I really like doing this right now.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to have success in other people's eyes. If we can tell the story or motivate a few people to doing good in the world, then hey, mission accomplished. I want to learn stuff myself too in the process, and I've already done that. So mission already accomplished. Only have upside from here. There is no, even if things go askew, I've taken a ton of learning already early in this process in the first 10 episodes. And we're already talking like we're committed to this for several years. Before we started this, we had the hard conversation of
we can't just try it.
We
Right.
can't just try it.
Yep.
We are committed to 2 to 3 years.
And like
As
in
long
the,
as
in the
hopefully you're
podcasting
that's the
world,
plan.
right? And in the podcasting world, like that's what you have to do.
You have to be
know,
there that
like
long.
I said, like you can't have any real meaningful growth analytics till 6 months to a year minimum. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like it is a long-term play, and that's what makes it so challenging. But that's also what makes it so intentional. Is like you are showing up for the people that you're wanting to reach for a long time, like for like the next few years. You said what, like 3-4 years?
2 to 3 years for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Reassess then.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And there's different phases to it too.
Yeah.
You know, like and I'll let you know, like when we enter into that phase, like there's different things that you can start to do to like connect and serve people. And the podcast is just one of those mediums, right? That will eventually lead into something else. So yeah.
Well, great.
We're on a
Looking
journey.
forward to it.
Yeah.
Let's go. So, summary, early successes. I mean,
Yep.
it's what we had hoped it would be. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for
Yeah.
that and your help with it.
Yeah.
We would not have been here. You know, Katie, the whole team at LSC, Lake Superior Consulting that supported this, like really appreciative. Again, nobody's throwing anything at me. So, you know, that's a positive sign. And we'll see
Do
where it
it,
goes. We've
ambush
got
them,
a
ambush
real,
them now.
I think we firm up that whole plan. Do you ever suggest like letting people know what's on the horizon? Like I just said, we have like 60, 70 topic ideas that
Yeah.
are pretty well baked.
Well, maybe we
Decently in
want
my
some-
mind anyway. Do we give any of that out there? Like, hey, here's what we're going to cover. So when somebody joins us, they say, you know, future unfilled episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody do that? Can we do that? Can we be a trendsetter there?
Yeah. You know, I think if what you're asking is like, how do we engage the audience in the future topics and like maybe ask them what they want to?
Or are you talking about teasing what we already have in the
I
can?
guess what I mean is right now you go to the whatever, Spotify, YouTube,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Apple,
Mm-hmm.
iTunes, and you see the 3 episodes that are out,
Mm-hmm.
which does not tell you what this show is quite yet.
Sure.
What if there was like
So-
at least a dozen unfilled episodes in the future? Because that's an accountability tool for us as well. That's what we need to record. Even if we don't say this is the specific guest or individual,
Sure.
we get the topics out there. I think you could look at it. I'm just winging it here,
No,
right? You
actually-
could look at it. You could say, that's what this podcast is going to be about. I want to tune into that episode when it comes out.
Yeah.
One of the podcasts I listen to, it has like upcoming episodes. It's grayed out, but it says,
That's what I
and
mean,
then the
grayed out.
release date,
Oh,
but like who
sure.
the guest is. So you can see like a week or 2 out. I don't know.
You could almost have that, and then in the you could have future topics that
Yeah.
are like even
Oh,
a different
sure.
color yet.
Yep.
I mean, these are the topics I want to cover, and we will cover.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be the things we, you know, for example, discussion with LSC, Lake Superior Consulting's founder.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would like to have that. I think he's kind of quasi agreed to it, but been traveling lately. That's an episode that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that work for our company that he's way more connected in the industry than I am, or anybody at our business, frankly, today is. There's a lot of employees we have that worked with him but didn't know him well at the time. There's a lot we have that have never met him. They're going to tune into this, and maybe some of our customers want to hear his perspective on energy and the landscape. I certainly do.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not afraid to put that on there, as that's a topic that's coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe we do something like that.
We can.
Here we
look
are
into it.
creating live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll look into
Explore.
it as well. That might just be like a platform thing. And I think that when you get to a certain level of like listeners, you start to unlock more things. So
It's like a game.
Yeah,
it
level
is.
up.
It is.
Earn
Yeah.
some badges or
Yeah.
something.
Exactly. There's like, once you have like 1,000, follow or monthly downloads or whatever, then you get access to
Unlock
this thing.
features.
So, yeah.
Oh,
Features,
so
monetization.
if you're listening
like
to
all
this,
that kind of stuff.
if you happen to be listening to or watching this and you'd like to see the show get better,
Yeah.
we need your help.
Like and this is where you say like and subscribe. Right?
I don't understand what that is. Whatever this means, you might have to do some research. Please like and subscribe.
If you're listening,
Don't ask me how.
Yeah. I got you.
You
If
got
you're
it.
listening on
Asher can-
Apple,
Yeah.
you can leave a 5-star review and you can leave a written review. Those written reviews, I'll send to Ryan so that he can read those. Katie can read those and actually respond to you on show because you can't respond on Apple. On Spotify, you can leave a 5-star rating and you can leave a comment on episodes, but you can't leave like a written review. Those we can actually respond back to on Spotify, which is awesome. And then on YouTube, you can like the video, subscribe to the show, and leave a comment on each individual video. If you have any questions or topics that you want to hear us talk about, again, you can comment those. Email is in the description of the episode. And even maybe in the future, we tossed around an idea of creating a survey form to give more in-depth feedback as well. So keep an eye out for that. If that hits the show notes, it'll be down there. But yeah, any sort of feedback and way to engage with us on the show, or these two, I should say, is what's really going to help shape the way the show moves forward. And sharing it with people who you think could benefit from it is another really, really great way to help the show grow, because it's not like what we're used to on other platforms like Instagram with an algorithm that pushes out any kind of content to people. This is a really organic traffic type of platform with podcasts. So what I mean by that is share it with a friend who you think could benefit from the episode. Send it to your network, comment and engage with it on the platforms. And that's going to be the number one way that you can help support the show right now.
Well, hey, I appreciate that.
And it is us, by the way. You're
totally.
You're in war with us. You're in the trenches. You're family now.
Yep.
If you didn't know it. Yep. So it's an us. Which is why you're here, which is why we wanted you to
I'm waiting for
you're
the
as much
initiation.
a part of the show as anybody. Yeah, no, it's pretty simple.
No, and
we had a scotch. So
that was it. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
The voice that comes behind the computer, if you've got something to say, because your insight is awesome, Asher.
Thanks.
Depending on the guest.
Yeah.
Love it. Interject.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Asher.
Thank you. We'll see you in the next one, everybody.
Bye-bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of Manic Energy, where the only constant is change. If you're fired up, do us a solid. Follow the show, leave a quick review, or send it to a friend. Got questions, ideas, or a topic you want us to dig into? Drop us a line at the link in the show description. Thanks for riding the current with us. Until next time, stay charged.